it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. I'm going to show you how to do something today, and I think that it will be something that you will use many times, okay? It'll be a little bit messy, but that's okay. Sometimes life gets messy. All right, what I've got here is some bone-in chicken thighs. And I picked up this package of chicken thighs at Aldi. They were $7, and there were 10 thighs in the package. And as you can see, they're skin on and bone in. These were $1.19 a pound. So yeah, about $7 and maybe some change for that package. I have already cooked 3 of these thighs. I actually made hot thighs. If you haven't seen my hot thighs video, you need to watch it because they're delicious. And these are actually what I had left from making the hot thighs. What I did was I removed the skin and the bones from the thighs. I deboned them myself. Now the reason I did that and the reason I bought bone-in chicken is because I can debone it myself. I can save the bones and the skin for broth, and then I can cook the boneless chicken and use that for other things, which I used it to make the hot thighs. Okay? All right. So let's get into this. Now, I've got my cutting board here, and I'm going to use the serrated knife. I found out that this serrated knife works pretty good when I'm trying to get the meat off of the bones. Now, when I did the hot thighs, after I deboned the meat, or deboned the chicken, I cut each thigh into 3 pieces. So, in order to make my hot thighs. But these particular ones, once I debone them, I'm not going to cut them up. I can do that later. I'm just preparing these for future use, or for the freezer. Okay. All right. So here I've got the thigh, and in the thigh is really just one bone. Now, I don't know. Let me see if I can get you down here. I have to be careful and not touch my camera with chicken juice. All right. I think you can see that. So you've got the bone that's running down the center here. You can see here where the bone was, that bone was cut away from the leg bone. When you see chicken quarters, that includes the thigh and the leg. You can also do this if you get a good buy on chicken quarters. You can do this yourself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the skin, and I'm going to put that, everything goes back into the bowl. I can separate it later. And I'm going to take the skin off here, and I don't have to be too meticulous about it. Just get off what I can. So there's the skin off the thigh, and I'm going to put that in the bowl as well. Now, if you don't like this part, take it off, and that's part of your scraps for the broth. All right. Now, the scraps for the broth, the skin and the bones, I'm going to put that in a separate freezer bag for later use. All right. So you can see here, this is what we've got, and I'm going to grab this by this wide section down here, and I'm going to take my serrated knife, and I'm just going to kind of scrape it. So you see there? I've just scraped it. I realize this knife is not for meat. I don't care. It serves the purpose for what I want. So there we go, and I've just kind of scraped that off. See there? Now you can see how the bone is exposed there? And since I've scraped that off, I'm gonna go down the side with my serrated knife, and I'm just gonna gradually just saw that away from the bone. You see why I like the serrated knife? Now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Now you're going to have a little bit of the meat is going to be left. Now let's flip it over here like this. I'm going to grab it here and I'm going to go underneath. You can see that you're going to have some meat left on the bone. That's okay. That's going to add flavor. Now, here's the bone. That's the bone. I'm going to throw that in the bowl. That's part of my scraps. And here is the thigh. Now, this is a boneless, skinless thigh. Now, I want you to trim this up however you like. And also feel in there. Now see, in feeling that, I can feel a piece of gristle, a little cartilage here. See that? I can feel that there. I don't want that in there, so I'm going to cut that off. Take my serrated knife, I'm going to get it under there, and I'm going to cut that off. Pull that out. That's going to be part of my broth scraps. Okay? Just work at it a little bit. Got it off, see? There. Now, what I have is a boneless, skinless chicken thigh. And like I said, you want to trim it up a little bit more, go ahead. I don't care that much about this kind of thing. If that's important to you, then by all means, cut it off. All right, so now you can see that we've got this nice boneless, skinless chicken thigh. If I were going to make hot thighs out of this, I would cut it here. I'd feel that edge there, feel that. I would cut it there. I would have 3 pieces to make the hot thighs. So let's do one more to kind of give you the idea. I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to put it in the bowl. Okay? Now let's pick out another one and do it. And like I said, when these are done, I'm going to divide my bones and skin, the scraps from the boneless thighs, put these in a separate bag, and put the boneless thighs. I'll show you how I'm going to do those. All right. Now I could have just bought a package of boneless, skinless thighs and spent more money per pound for that. And then I would not have had, and that would have been convenient, but I wouldn't have had the benefit of being able to make chicken broth, or even cooking it much longer, making bone broth, which is very healthful for you. So here we go. I've got this one here, and let's just take off the skin a little bit closer. Just get your little knife, get your knife under there. And you don't have to use a serrated knife. You can use whatever knife makes you feel comfortable. And then I'm just pulling the skin away. Just like that. Another benefit you get when you do this and you use your scraps for chicken broth is you render some beautiful chicken fat. If you've never had things cooked in chicken fat, you're missing out on one of the world's great flavors, I can tell you. All right. There we go. Now, like I said, I'm not too fussy about this here. If that bothers you, then by all means take it off. It doesn't bother me. All right, now you can see we've got the skin. Speaking of which, this chicken skin, have you ever taken the chicken skin and put it in the oven and turned it into cracklings? It's delicious. I have to tell you, it really is. Very good. Okay, now, I'll show you one more time. We're going to take the bone out of this. Remember how we found the end of the bone? It doesn't matter which end you find. Just find the end of that bone, okay? The bone that runs through the thigh. Now, just feel your way, because that's something that absolutely helps you learn the anatomy of the chicken or the meat that you're trying to cut. I'm not trying to be too technical here. Now, see there what I did? I scraped that down. See there? Now I'm going to go along the side. I'm going to scrape that down as well. Now, what I'm trying to do is I want to keep this in the flesh intact as much as possible. Okay? You see, that's a tendon. That's a tendon on your... Now, I'm going to turn it around here so you can see. Now I'm going to scrape it down again. Just take your time with it. You're not running a race. Alright. Now we're going to go underneath, remember? Underneath. And we're going to take that off. See, there's tendons there. And if those are still attached to your bone, that's all the better, because they'll cook up when you make your broth. All right, look at that. There's the bone from the thigh. You don't really have little bones in the thigh. Now then, remember what I told you? And you notice I'm keeping one hand clean. Feel around the flesh and see if there's any gristle or anything. See what we have here? We've got some a hard piece there. We've got some cartilage. That wouldn't be pleasant to bite into, so we want to take that out. So get your knife, get a hold of this piece. You can feel where it begins and ends. And take your knife in there and get under there. And I'll tell you the advantage of using a serrated knife is you're less likely to cut yourself. I'm just saying. There, got part of it loose. Now get it under there. Gonna get rid of that. Now we got rid of that. It's got a little meat left on it. That's okay. That'll make our broth really good. Now, feel it again. Feel that. Do you have anything that's hard or anything left in there that you don't want that might be unpleasant? There we go. Now, our second boneless, skinless chicken thigh is done. Okay? All right. I'm going to complete this bowl of chicken thighs. Then I'm going to bring you back and I'm going to show you how I store these. Okay? All right. Okay, here's the bag of bones and skin. In other words, all the scraps from the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Here are the bones and scraps that I gleaned from the other chicken thighs that I cooked last night. So I will put these in the freezer and I'll just mark the bag, and that way when I get ready to make my chicken broth or bone broth, I can do it very easily. Okay? All right. Now then, here are the boneless, skinless chicken thighs. There's 7 of them. They look pretty good, don't they? So let me show you what I'm going to do with these and how I'm going to store these. Okay, I've got my pan here and I've got it lined with parchment paper. Normally I would use wax paper because, I don't know, I think it's cheaper. You get more for your money. But anyway, I've got the parchment paper here. So I'm going to take the chicken and I'm going to lay it on the parchment paper in this pan. Now, I'm going to try to keep them folded together because I do not want to get chickeny again. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this, and you've probably seen me do this many times before with other things. I'm going to put this in my freezer, and I'm going to freeze these thighs individually. And when they are frozen or almost frozen, I'm going to put them in a freezer bag. Now, why do I do that, you ask? Why don't I just freeze up a big old clump of chicken? Well, because it makes it a lot easier. I can take out as many as I want, whenever I want. I can thaw out as many as I want. I don't have to thaw out the whole package. And I think, for me, that's more efficient. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, you can do it however you like, but I hope this helps you. So just remember that if somebody else does the work, you're going to pay for that. And my late husband always said, if you are unwilling or unable to spend the money, then you should plan on spending the time. So I'm okay with that. I actually get more bang for my buck. I'm spending less per pound. I'm taking a little bit of time. And once you learn to do this, it doesn't take that much time. Just taking a little bit of my time to prepare, to debone the thighs and remove the skin. And I actually get so much good out of these. It's kind of crazy. So, that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you give this a try. If I can do it, you can certainly do it. I have no doubt in my mind. Just keep it simple. It's not that complicated, okay? And if you have to run the video again, especially the part where I'm deboning the thighs, go ahead. Just once you learn to do this, you will begin to look at your food a little bit differently. And you know, honestly, it doesn't hurt to handle your food and get to know it and know where it comes from. I know that sounds weird, but that's just me. Okay, listen, I love you. If I can do this, you can do this. Okay? You really can. And I look forward to seeing you again. Please like, subscribe, and share. And share, because everybody needs to know this. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, and then hopefully you'll be notified when I do post a new video. I hope this helps you. And as always, Little is much when God is in it. Okay? All right. I love you guys, and I will see you later. All right. Bye-bye.